Self-employment is great, right? It's why I can start a podcast and I can schedule it for 10:15 on a Saturday, not 10, not 10:30, but 10:15 on a Saturday because that's what works for me. So self-employment is great, but it also comes with a lot of challenges. So hello, I'm Lisa Hanfileti and welcome to the Love Your Livelihood podcast. This is where holistic practitioners, we can come together, explore the business challenges that we're facing and the creative and sometimes unconventional ways that we address these challenges. But my expertise is in digital marketing, specifically helping practitioners leverage their online space and promote their services, add income streams, and get more personal time back because I do not love it when you are feeling burnt out. I know that feeling. And so each of these sessions on this podcast are designed to look at, how being self-employed as a healthcare practitioner can be both very fulfilling and it can also be very frustrating. So I opened my acupuncture practice last month, makes it 25 years. So 25 years ago, I opened my practice. I did not have any business training. I did not have any business experience. I really had no business opening a practice, but like you, I went into this with the idea that I was driven by my mission of really wanting to help people. So I think one thing that makes healthcare practitioners so different than other business owners is that we did not get into this with this big entrepreneurial urge, to run a business, right? In the last 15 or so years that I've been working one-on-one with private clients and helping other practitioners to get over the hump with whatever challenges they've been facing, I've asked them, why did you become an acupuncturist or a massage therapist or a nutrition counselor or any of the other types of practices or people that I've worked with? And I've never heard anybody say it's because, I want to make a shit ton of money and I want to, buy several houses and cars. Not that there's anything wrong with those things, but I've never heard anyone say that. And the reason is because we got into this most of the time because we experienced a transformation. We experienced something in our lives that led us to wanting to share the medicine and the techniques or the skills that we learned. And so this is what makes us really different in the whole self-employed space of any other type of business owner, in my opinion. So what I wanted to do today is walk you through what I have found to be really helpful for people when you understand the different phase of business that you're in. I call them the 3 phases of business. And so I'm going to just move over here and I'm just going to walk you through the 3 phases of business. And while I'm doing this, I would love it if in chat, if you could just say where you're listening from and what kind of practice you have, because I'd really love to know that. So I'm just going to start out. So I'm talking about the 3 phases of business. I just call them phases. There's overlap, and I'll get into that in just a second. So the first phase is where I'm going to call this, all we're interested in is finding people. We want people because we've just learned this healing modality, these techniques, these skills, this information, and all we want to do is help people and get our hands on people. And the second phase is, I'm going to call it money. I used to try to soften it and say revenue or income, but the truth is the phase where we realize we need more money. We need more money in our lives in order to have certain things that maybe run our practice better. And then the third phase, I call it time. This is where we want more time. We want to spend more time with our families. We want to travel, other things on our mind. So the people phase is what I call the foundation. This is like the foundational piece where we're really interested in just filling our practice, getting booked, that kind of stuff. The money phase is for growth, changes, and maybe we're doing so well with the people phase that we are ready to hire an associate or something like that. There's a lot of reasons why we want growth. And then the time phase is when we're in transition. So transition can come at the end of our career. like when you're ready for retirement and you want to move into a place where you're not seeing people, or you want to close your practice. Transition can also be forced upon us. Weather events, floods, fires, things make us change. In 2020, we all experienced a significant transition where we had to change the way we did our practice. So these phases, although they seem independent, are kind of interrelated. If I was to draw this as a Venn diagram, let me just kind of move this out of the way a little bit. Move this back. It would look something like this. Let me just move this a little bit around. If I can do this here, move that over there. And it would look like this. We would have people here, and we'd have money intersecting in here. These are all related. And then we would have probably time over here. And you can see how if you are associating the number of people that come into your practice or the number of people that you see with money, then those two are going to be connected. And if you see taking time off with the amount of money that you make because you're not seeing more people over here, you can see how these are connected. So these are interrelated. And a particular phase doesn't necessarily mean you have like fixed the phase and gone into the next one. So in fact, for all of these, you could probably be in the people phase and the money phase and the time phase all on the same day where you're working with and addressing those kinds of issues. So let me go through and explain what the different issues might be when you're working with these things, when you're in these different phases. So see if you can relate to this. I'll move this over to the side or down here. Let's try that again. Move it one more time. I always go for 3. We're just going to go small this time. There we go. All right. So people phase, let's talk about that. In this stage, so I'm just going to, move over here, move this up. There we go. People phase. This is where, I love this phase. This is where you're working with your heart. I mean, the desire in this phase is actually really simple because the idea is that the more people you get through your door, the more you get to do what you love, the more you get to give people that transformation that you experienced when you got into the field. So this is the time when we get to really feel that satisfaction and feel like we're living that purpose, doing what it is that we were meant to do. The goal here then, so the idea of what success is in this phase is just getting fully booked. Like get your schedule booked to the max, get your hands on as many people as possible. And this is what just feels really good. The unfortunate part of this is that when you are directly relating the satisfaction that you get from the number of people that you see, and that is also related to the amount of money that you make, then it's difficult when you need to take time off or when you have expenses come up and you realize that the number of people and the amount of money you're making or the time that you want to take off don't match. So I'll come back to this in the solutions part because there's a solution to this, and that's what I want to really help you understand. The time or the growth phase, the money phase of this is when you are interested in having some breathing room. So here's the tricky part with this is, again, none of us get into this because we feel like we want to make a whole ton of money. We really, our interest is wanting to help people. But the reality kind of hits us like a ton of bricks when we get our taxes and we start seeing all the fees, for our licensing, and all these kinds of things start to add up. And if you ever want to, start a family or move or do something that requires more cost, then you realize I need to find a way to make more money. And so the tendency then is to come back into the people phase and just try to get more people. So these two are often initially, these two are often completely tied together. And what I want to show you is there's a way to separate those two so that they are independent from each other. And I think this is where you really then start to get more of this time freedom, which is what a lot of us are interested in, because we are in the self-development space. We want to keep developing ourselves, our minds, our bodies, our spirits. We want to keep growing. And if all we are doing is giving, then it becomes a setup for feeling resentful of the amount of time that we're spending helping other people, and we're not working on ourselves. And we also, it puts us in a space where we're out of integrity with what it is that we're telling other people to do. So I know none of you have ever said to people or helped people with their work-life balance, right? And explain to them why they really need to shift some of the things that they're doing. And then in your own life, you haven't done those things. Like, I know none of you have ever experienced that, right? So this is all about connecting, these pieces in a way where it feels like we are in integrity with who we are and who we want to be, so that we can, like I say, love your livelihood, love what you do, get up every morning excited because you are living what it is that you're also helping people achieve. So if I come back here to these different phases. So in the money phase, you're looking at growth, and the growth can be good. The growth can be that you need to hire an associate. You've done so well in with people that you're ready to hire. You might be interested in moving spaces or expanding your space. So it can be a really fun phase, but it also, when you're growing, it does require like reinvestment. And if your belief is the only way I can make more money in order to reinvest is to see more people, then it becomes this back and forth. You're always going to be capped by the amount of time that you have in a given day to see people. So this growth phase, often the solution here is maybe I can extend my day to fit more people in. Or maybe I can extend my week so that now I work Saturdays, or I was taking Wednesdays off and now I'm going to work Wednesdays also. So you start to play with time and your schedule to fit more people in. The other option in this growth phase is you can raise your prices. This is often when this comes up. You know what? This is it definitely, if you take insurance, this is a like crazy time. Getting insurance reimbursements and fighting with insurance companies and, having delayed payments, it's a real issue. And so raising prices or going with cash can be a solution for that. The problem here is that those solutions are also temporary. You are always going to be limited by the amount of time that you are able to see people and the number of people that you can see in that period of time. There are ways to really change that. So we'll look at that in just a minute. And then the transition phase, this is my favorite phase here. This is where we're able to, this is where we just want more flexibility in our time. And I think that this is something I can recall very clearly. One of the first times my husband and I took vacation, and just it hitting me. Like, I remember as a kid being on vacation, it just being so free and so fun. And even as I was an adult and I had a job and I would get paid vacation, it'd be great. And then as a self-employed practitioner, there's like all these double whammies that happen. Because number one, not only are you not making money for that period of time. So let's say you take a week off to go on vacation like most normal humans do, right? You don't make any money during that period of time. And you're spending money during that period of time because you're traveling, you've got flights, you've got hotel, if you're going on a real vacation. So you're spending money, you're not making any money. And then one of the hardest parts for me was you are unable to see the patients during that period of time. so there's this sense of you're abandoning them. I felt guilty for not seeing them during that period of time. Of course, they were fine, but it weighed on my mind. And then you come back and you're trying to, your schedule got packed because they all knew you were off that week, and now they're all in the next week, and you extended days, and then you've got emails to follow up with, you've got phone calls that you've got to return, and it's like, is it really worth it to take a vacation? And that's not a human way to think about your life and your job. So I totally can relate to this feeling of where you want time, you want free time, you want personal time, you want time to spend with your family without guilt of abandoning patients or without losing income. And so this is something that typically will come later in life. So these phases can be one right after the other, where oftentimes, in the beginning of our career, we're more focused on, just the people. We're just like, this is like all heart love. Like we just want to get our hands on people and help them. And then later as reality hits, we realize, you know what, I actually need to spend some time, and get my mind wrapped around, and learn some really important things about money management and budgeting. And this is like where worry sets in, of like all the what ifs kind of come in here. And then the time is really, for me, it's like, this is our spiritual time where we can really have personal growth and that kind of stuff. And this is also where we're headed into, again, like retirement. How would you like to retire and not lose all that income? And how would you like to retire and continue to help people? That's where I am. Like, that's what I love doing, is being able to help people, even when I'm not seeing them one-on-one or doing any acupuncture, that kind of stuff. So hopefully you can kind of see these different phases and relate to them a little bit. Let me know in the comments if you can identify, what phase are you in? What phase would you like to be in? I want to go through like some of them mistakes that are made in these different phases, and then how we can fix them. So in the people phase, so when we're just looking to fill our practice, oftentimes we're busy with networking. So maybe we're doing networking events and looking at word of mouth referrals. So this is a lot of networking. We're looking at getting referrals, recommendations. These are all great things to be able to do. And from a online perspective, which is what I look at a lot of times, you'll have a website, right? You'll have a website because you were told you were supposed to have a website. And you might, if you're looking at getting more people to your clinic, to your office, then this is also the time where you might start. This is where I see in Acupuncture Business Academy in the Facebook group, I'll often see people posting and saying, I want to hire an SEO manager. Like, can anybody recommend somebody who can help me with search engine optimization, which, by the way, has completely changed now with AI. So we're going to start talking about AI optimization, AEO. It's a little different. That's another story. We'll cover that another time. But this is where I also see people reaching out and saying, I want help with social media. Can anyone help me hire a social media manager? These are all great sort of things, unless you don't have a strategic plan of how to use them. And that's mostly the case. And I'll give you an example of this. Several years ago, I had somebody reach out to me. It was an acupuncturist. And she said, Lisa, I need help with Facebook. She said to me, I need help with Facebook. So I said, we set up a consultation, start working with her. And I said to her, why do you need help with Facebook? And she said, well, I see, everybody's using it. All our acupuncture colleague friends are using it. She sees me on there. She sees all these people on there, and she just has no idea how to use Facebook. I was like, what do you need Facebook for? Well, I need more patients. Okay. So I said, let's take a look at your Facebook account, because I needed to see, well, what was she posting? And she had trouble logging in. And as she's logging in, she just went into this big rant. I hate Facebook. I hate social media. I hate doing this stuff. And so I'm like, okay, well, if you hate doing this, why do you need it? Well, I need more patience. I'm like, okay, let's take a look at your schedule, because I do have a solution if you need more patience, and there's other ways to do this. So we look at her schedule. Her schedule's packed. She's booked, and she goes into another rant. I don't want more patience. She did Japanese style acupuncture, which involved abdominal palpation. She's an hour plus with every patient. Her schedule was booked. She did not need or want more patience. She was tired. She was burned out. She wanted more money, and she wanted time to herself. So in the problem with the thinking was that the money was only tied to the number of patients, and she needed more patients. And the only way to get more, or one of the ways she thought to get more patients, was by posting more on social media. And you can see this is a kind of a flawed way to thinking. So we were able to sort things out, because when you are able to separate this, when you are able to see that you can actually grow your business by using other things, so other ways to do it. And one of the ways to do it is using a web platform that integrates, many different pieces of your business. And I'll get to that in just a second. But the idea of having a website in the people phase is great. It's a great way for people to get to know you, but learning how to use it to generate income is a different way of thinking about how you show up online. And this is also, again, how it can help you with gaining more time for yourself. The actions in the phase of money growth are pretty much the same. This is also when I'll see people looking for SEO help, or looking for guidance with a social media manager. And again, I just want to say that if you do not have a strategic plan for how you put these together, how you put together SEO for your website, and how you put it with the services that you offer and any other types of things that you offer, then it's going to just be this constant thing where you think that this SEO and posting more on social media, that these two things are just going to keep bringing you more patients. That's the only goal here. And what I want for you to understand is that these things can bring you more time if you're strategic about how you put them together. The other piece of this is, when you're in this growth phase, you may also, again, I think there's some really exciting things about this stage, because you may also be looking to hire. And so hire associates, hire staff. This will also, if you can hire, it will also, so if you have the money and the plan to hire people, then this can give you more time. And that is something that is fine for many practitioners and many businesses. If you're a solo acupuncturist and you're wearing many hats, that can be a blessing and a curse, because it moves you from being hands-on and doing the work that you love to being a people manager. And that requires a different set of skills. Again, it's very doable, but it does require a different purpose, a different set of purposes, and maybe another stage of learning in your own business growth. Very doable. I think for most people, they're looking for other ways to do this besides hiring. And so that's kind of where I come in. And then for the time phase, I think that the idea I already brought up is that if I take time off, then I'm going to lose money. So I either have to work harder. This is where, you might start budgeting, cutting expenses. And unfortunately, this is the place where I start to see people saying, I want to, I'm paying X amount of dollars for my website or my monthly hosting or my email. And now I want to cut those expenses. And I think that's the worst expense that you can cut. In fact, I'll say this. If you look at your website, your online presence, your platform, if you look at your website as an expense, then you're missing the whole point of it. because it is an investment. Your website should be bringing you much more income than you are spending on it. So let me just say that again. Your website is an investment in your business. It's a part of your business. And I want to help you think of it that way, because it is that web platform, that online space that can solve these 3 issues that come up when you want more people, more money, more time. Your website can help you with those things. And I talk about it as a web platform because that is the way I look at it right now. It used to be website was just kind of like, this static thing that you just put up and forgot about. And if that's what you've done, there's time to fix this because it shouldn't be something that you just put up and forget about. You think, okay, I did the one thing that I was supposed to do for my business. I got my website. People can find me. They can do online booking. I'm all set. I SEO'd it. I get traffic. People can find me and they schedule. That's great. That's just one piece of it. There's so much more that you could be doing. And so let me tell you what's missing and what the solution is to each of these. So I'm very specific on this. So I'm hoping to give you some actionable information here. And we only have 3 minutes left. So we will continue this conversation of these 3 phases, what's missing and what the solutions are. I'd like to go much deeper into each one of these. If you want more people, if you want more money, and if you want more time, they're all tied together, and they should be. But I want to let's just look at the people one in the next 3 minutes here. So the people one, where you're looking for more, you just want more people to get your hands on or in front of you so you can do labs, you can work with them. The idea is that you have to understand that your website is a way to connect with those people, and a very simple way to connect with those people and to continue to bring those specific people in is to have what we call a way to build your list. So build a list of people who've raised their hand and said, I want to work with you, by offering them something for free that they're interested in. So let me just give you an example. Let's say you're an acupuncturist and you help people with pain, and more specifically, you love working with women with fibromyalgia. You get great results. So you have a free checklist. You give it to all your patients, and you're just offering it in the online environment through your website, a checklist of 20 foods that are anti-inflammatory and have been shown to help reduce pain due to fibromyalgia. So you have this 20 foods that reduce pain and help people with fibromyalgia. And then you have 20 foods that actually, if you increase, they help promote, well-being. So you've got 20 foods that you want them to eliminate, and 20 foods you want them to eat. And so anyone with fibromyalgia is going to be like, hell, I really want to know what that's all about. And I'm going to opt in. I'm going to give you my name and my email for that. That is called a lead magnet. People opt in for it. You get their name and address. Now, the important thing about this is that you are getting the name and email address, rather, of anyone who is interested in reducing their pain because of fibromyalgia. You now have a curated list of people that are very specifically interested in something that you love helping people with. And from that, you can build so much onto it that relates to money, that relates to your time. So I'm going to just leave that there with this. I want to keep these podcasts to 30 minutes because I respect your time, and because I want to make sure that you know that you're going to come in here and get something actionable, something that will help you in your business. So I hope that today's episode sparks some ideas from you. I'd love to hear from you. I would love to know what phase of business that you're in. Go ahead and you can comment underneath this video, share your questions and your insights, be part of this conversation, be part of the solution here. And I will also have a link underneath this video where you can subscribe and get updates on what's coming up next, and get a little review or summary of what I covered the week before. So I appreciate you spending your time with me. I know this is, your Saturday, so I thank you for being here. And don't forget, you deserve to love your livelihood. So I thank you. Have a great rest of your weekend.